Welcome to another episode of TNC at the Movies.
What's up, guys?
The music that you can listen to is brought to you by Studio Pete, where you can find them at on Spotify. Just go ahead and search Studio Pete, and you can find them on YouTube as well, everywhere else. Also wanted to take this time to have everyone like, share, subscribe. Make sure you comment. We love the interaction. Make sure you're there. We also have the movie night baristas that we like to thank. Make sure you go to buymeacoffee.com/TNC. And if you like our work, make sure you send us some coffee. We're actually going to take a quick pause for a sponsor ad. That's right, Tiny?
That's right.
I wanted to go ahead and surprise you. We do have a sponsor for this channel. I'd like to take this time to thank the sponsor for the episode, RoccoClark.com. At RoccoClark.com, you can find help with many of your multimedia needs, like photo editing, including photo restoration or object removal, website design with Java or HTML. Maybe you have a special project that just needs a light touch-up, or perhaps a project that needs to be completely revamped. The awesome staff at RoccoClark.com will love to help you. Even if you're not sure what your vision is just yet, Rocco Clark will guide you through. Go to RoccoClark.com and fill out the Contact Me section for more information. RoccoClark.com, your next front-end developer. All right, and once again, we'd like to thank RoccoClark.com for sponsoring this episode. Tiny, what are we reviewing today?
Today we are reviewing the sequel to Dracula, Renfield. I'm sorry, Renfield. All right, so we're talking Renfield, and this movie stars Nicolas Cage as Dracula, Nicholas Hoult as Renfield. We have Awkwafina, that's one name. Don't need a last one. As Rebecca. And then we also have Sonic? Ben Schwartz?
Yeah.
As
Sonic the Hedgehog.
As Teddy Lobo. Great character. I'll talk more about that later. And it's 90 years later, after years of what I assume is abuse. Because he needs to go to these classes for codependency. But the twist is these codependency classes he's going to are for Dracula. He goes and he takes victims for Dracula. So Dracula can heal and be at full potential.
I have a few words to describe the plot in this movie. And first I'm going to use probably the wrong word, and then I use a better word. The wrong word, I feel that this movie suffers from what I like to call the Godzilla effect. And a better word would probably be reeks, because it actually, you know, when something reeks, it doesn't have to be necessarily bad, but it's just very, very potent. And what I mean by that is you have you have Renfield and Dracula, which drive most of the story, but then you have a human plot that's always mixed in, right? Where
I hear you loud and clear.
And that's where Awkwafina and her story takes place. Right. And you know, in this case, the role of Godzilla or the monsters is played by obviously Renfield and Dracula himself. And Renfield seems to be the plot device that kind of just holds everything together. Because you literally have the thing that Renfield is doing with Dracula, and then you have the thing that
Rebecca has to deal with, right? That
she has to do with her character, you know, being the cop and dealing with the possible but very probable police corruption, as it were. And then like all you know, I would hate stereotypically, every cop always has to have their parent, their dad, or someone is always the cop.
Oh yeah, like it's a lineage of cops.
Yeah, it's always a lineage of cop, which I don't mind. However, that's what we have here, and sometimes some of it doesn't make sense, but the best part is that it doesn't have to. Right?
Yeah.
So some of it doesn't have to make sense, and that's the beauty of it. Because, you know, there's all the cool stuff, and then there's the human stuff, which just kind of gives you the break of the monotony of the destruction. All right, Tiny.
Yo.
I want to actually talk about the characters, and at first, I want to get your thoughts on Nicolas Cage and his relationship sort of with Renfield. So the Nicholas squared. How do you think that tandem was?
If you would have told me and showed me on paper, I would have said you're insane. I would have said nah. I would have passed. I would have said give me something else. Let's go back to the Dark Universe. But no, I think after watching it, watching their performance, watching their chemistry on screen, put them together in something else. Like, I don't mind. Give me a sequel. I mean, bring them back. Find a way. They deserved it to be on screen together, and I think they both had a lot of fun with both their portrayals of Dracula and Renfield. Yeah.
Nice. I thought they worked really, really well. I thought that Nicolas Cage, as always, I don't know if this man knows how to give anything less than 110% on any role, regardless of what that role is. So I think obviously Nick did a great job. Nick did a great job, and after watching the film, part of me was like, I feel like I've seen this before. And then I was like, wait, I think they did do a movie together before, and it was a movie a long time ago. We were nothing but children. Was it the Weatherman?
Holy F, yeah.
Yeah. They he played his son. Vaguely remember. I should have probably tried to go watch the movie just to get a little
The Weatherman.
See what that was like.
Is that the one with Don Cheadle?
Yes.
That's the one. Oh man.
Right. So
I watched that one. I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
But I guess after this film, they were able to go out drinking.
Well, you know what? Heck yeah. Good for them. Good on them.
Absolutely. I thought the characters were great. I thought the human characters, I think they were slightly comical in the sense that a lot of it was, cliche. Is that a word I can say? A lot of it was cliche. You got the obviously corrupted cops, and then you got the obviously high number of corrupted cops, and it's just how so over the top that you just have to you just buckle in for the ride, because that's just what you're in for. So Tiny, out of everything in this film,
sure,
is there anything that you want to just sort of say, like the Macho Man says, the cream rises to the top? Does anything stand out in this film for you?
Besides performances? There's actually a lot of things that stood out. This movie, some people like to say movies are beautiful, and all beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and a lot of people like to think, movies with a lot of shots of buildings and landscape and just wide, like that's beauty. No, this movie's beautiful. It's colorful. It's choreographed well. It reminds me of a how would I say this? It's like John Wick met vampires with a dash of superhero. Superheroes, yeah. And and once I found out Robert Kirkman was the man behind the idea, I was like, it makes a lot more sense why it feels comic book like, and they don't hold back on the oddity of it all, and it's just great concept. It was executed well, and I guess the things that stand out a lot more were the Apache Joe scene, because it was. I mean, it's not out of the movie's norm, because if you watch the entire film, you're like, that's not unlikely, but it's just hilarious, great, bloody. It's fun, good stuff. What else stood out? The set design. The set design was freaking great. It's fantastic. The special effects was great. I tried to see who the makeup department was. It didn't say. It just had a bunch of different individuals involved. Good for you guys. Great. Oh, in the beginning scenes, where they were basically redoing the scenes from the original Dracula with Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult, and those were beautifully done. You remake the first movie with just them in it. It didn't have to be comedic like this one. It could be in the same tone as the first one. Oh man, don't tell me you guys aren't gonna make money.
Ben Schwartz was my favorite in this entire thing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'll tell you that right now. Every time that there was a serious moment or everything, I felt, man, maybe this movie's going a little too far.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Ben Schwartz, and now I'm laughing.
Right.
And now everything is okay again, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the action, the action was great, right? So like everything in the movie, over the top, right? So what was it? It was straight Kill Bill, the type of violence.
Yeah.
So that's actually something I appreciate.
Stylized, it's good stuff.
For those who are interested, you can go to IMDb and you can check what's about in this movie. It'll say that there's a little bit of gore, and that is probably the biggest lie that IMDb has ever said. There's so much gore, but it's Kill Bill gore. So that's
A lot of it's digital.
yeah. A lot of it is digital, which sort of segues into, like every film, we always, even if we have to try.
Mm-hmm.
My only complaint about this is, while I loved and appreciated, the violence and the gore and everything, just would it kill someone to just, get a bucket of blood and just kind of just throw it on somebody, so at least after they look like they bled,
Or have like a blood mister.
just
do something.
Because I mean, when there's like buckets and buckets of blood being lost, and then you come out, with your hair dry, all clean. But like I said, that's when we gotta find something, and if I have to nitpick, that's probably where I'm going with this. It's time for nitpicking tiny.
Let's do this. Shoot. This movie suffers from the use of CGI. It could have, I believe, this movie could have been all practical. They could have borrowed from Peter Jackson's Brain Dead or Dead Alive. In terms of I mean, you can do big scale practical. I mean, you don't gotta go full CG. And I know you gotta give people work. You gotta give the computer guys some jobs. But give those practical effects studios some jobs too, man. Like, I'm pretty sure, could have called somebody to do some stuff. But hey, that's not knocking the great makeup that they did do. The movie could have also could have leaned a little harder on the horror. A little hard. I think
should always appreciate more horror.
Yeah. Like I think it leaned not heavy on the. I mean, it's a horror comedy, but a little more. It was a little more on the comedy for me. Not knocking it. I still had a great time. What else could it have? I don't think you needed more Nick Cage. A lot of people said, more Nick Cage. There wasn't enough Nick Cage. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the amount of Nick Cage there was. If I could have said anything, it could have gave me more scenes from the original.
Yeah, more like like the little memory ones, or like the.
Yeah, exactly. Like a wipe here and there, jazz it up, But I guess other than that, no, nothing too crazy. Yeah, that's about it.
Tiny, I'm glad that you brought something up, right?
Yes.
And a little behind the scenes, we have a rule here at TNC, one tangent per episode, and I think I'm gonna go on mine.
Oh, go for it.
I think you said something that I think a lot of people, not that they're not getting, but this is where I'm gonna get on my high horse and be like, you guys just don't understand film, and I think that they did something that was very, very brilliant, right? Because while I want to understand when people complain that there was not enough Nick Cage, I think there was just enough, right? Because if you actually, break it down, don't forget that this is a monster movie, and the monster is Nick Cage.
That's right.
Right? And what's the biggest complaint about a monster movie when they show the monster too quickly and when they show the monster too much.
Too often and too much.
Right? So, why was Jaws, such a good film? Because you barely saw the shark.
That's right. Bruce was seldomly seen.
I think that it was actually brilliantly done. Whether it was done on purpose or there's just something that I'm just pretending to see, or but I think that it was just enough that they had Nick Cage in this film. I think
18 hours of makeup. You know that, right? 18 hours of makeup, people. Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah. Also, the man has a life, people. But I think we got just enough. I think more would have been too much. I think we got just enough, and I think we got what we should have gotten. Because I think if there was more, people would find a reason to complain.
I think this goes hand in hand with your Godzilla effect. I mean, just imagine if we got a Godzilla film without humans. Genuinely imagine it. Like, what's Godzilla like? You're gonna follow him underwater? You're gonna watch him eat whales or something? What's gonna really happen?
Right?
You gotta add. You gotta mix. You gotta take out. You gotta. So yeah, good stuff on that Godzilla thing. It's cool.
All right, I think we're ready to rate this movie.
I'm ready to rate this movie.
I'm gonna go ahead and start this off. I think very highly of this film. I very enjoyed this film. I think that watching it again is something I would definitely recommend. Everyone should watch this movie. If you're a Nick Cage fan, you're gonna love this movie. If you're a horror, or a Dracula fan, you're gonna very much appreciate this film.
That's right.
Because while you're gonna get a lot of the, there are Easter eggs and you will see them, and you're gonna, you will chuckle and you will laugh. You will be able to turn your brain off in this movie, which I think is probably the reason I like it the most. I love a great movie where you can turn your brain off. This is one of those films because you know what? All the brain, all of the hard work has already been done for you. It's been done in the film. You just got to sit down and enjoy it. I rate this movie an A- because, like I said, it could have been better, but not a lot. I think if you're complaining about this movie, I think you're rating it for something that it's not. It's supposed to be funny. You're supposed to turn your brain off. Tiny, what do you think about this film?
I think this movie could have been don't get me wrong, this movie is great. It's fun. I recommend you watch it. You can watch it by yourself. You can watch it with a group of friends, one friend, many friends. Just as long as you're watching it, I think you're gonna have a good time. This movie could have been a lot more than it was, but it could have also been a lot less. And I think watching the trailer so many times before movies, and then watching the movie itself, I see that they edited the movie quite a bit. There's some scenes where it looks like he's in a parade having a dance, maybe during a Mardi Gras parade, and it's not in the movie, and that's okay. So it's obviously this movie's been edited to a point to be serviceable, to be viewed as many times as possible in the theater. I hope they didn't edit out Nick Cage, and if there is a unedited or extended version, I'd like to watch that. Overall, it was, I want to just keep saying fun. It was fun. It was funny. I enjoyed the violence. I enjoyed the gore, the CGI gore. The concept was great. Him going to, or it's funny because does he really go to the meetings for himself, or is that just something he told? Is that a lie he tells Dracula just so he can do both? You know what I mean? Like, live both lives. But yeah, I'm gonna have to rate this movie. I'm gonna go A.
Nice.
I'm gonna go A. It could have been an S. if this movie was full practical, no CGI, a little bit more Cage and a little more flashback, or maybe even just an extended opening, could have been an S. But take the A, Renfield. Great job.
Great job.
Heck yeah. Recommend. Watch it twice. Watch it with a friend or watch it alone, but do watch it. Support the movies.
All right. And I think that's going to do it for this episode. But once again, I would like to remind everyone to like, share, comment, subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think? We like to take your feedback. Don't forget about our Movie Night Baristas. And if you want to be a Movie Night Barista, go to buymeacoffee.com/TNC.
Yes. Greatly appreciated. And again, let us know what you think in the comments below. Watch movies, guys.